beautiful. So get your cameras ready. We'll spend a few minutes. Maybe they'll give us a show. You can see the container terminal I was talking about, the big white cranes. This dock can accommodate 2 ships, 3 if they're smaller ships. You can see the big cranes, that's what lifts the containers on and off the ship. Usually they come loaded and they leave empty, so all the containers you see that are being put on the ship are empty, sending the containers back to the foreign ports. Up ahead to the right you'll see the break wall, a large rock wall sticking up out of the water. One of the world's longest break walls, 8.5 miles long. Starts at Cabrillo Beach up in Pedro and continues on down to Los Alamitos to the east here. The opening here in Long Beach is called Queen's Gate after the Queen Mary. Opening in Los Angeles is called Angel's Gate after Los Angeles, the city of angels. Took over 50 years to complete with the San Pedro portion being started in 1899. This rock wall sits in about 60 feet of water. Protects the inner harbor here from large ocean swells that tend to fill the open ocean. Allows the ships to unload their cargo, do stuff like that. Also an interesting fact is 99 or 95% of the rock that was used to build this break wall came from Catalina Island, which is an island 26 miles long, 300 miles. They have a big rock quarry on the east end of the island just offshore and then navigates the ship into the dock. They have a very, very good understanding of the harbor and all the depths and docks and buoys and all that stuff. So they get on a couple miles, bring it in, take it to the dock, and 3 anchorages in the outer harbor here. This is Delta Anchorage. Big ships will come here and anchor for a variety of reasons. Many times ships can also be seen anchored offshore. They may anchor to complete a repair, load stores, pick up crew, pick up supplies, take fuel. Some of the larger ships, when fully loaded, can sit anywhere from 30 to 60 feet in the water. So you can imagine there's only a few places that they can anchor. Most of the ships you see anchored are oil tankers. They bring crude oil from the Middle East. These ships can weigh as much as 350,000 tons. Refined into gasoline or diesel can provide fuel for more than 4,000 vehicles here in Southern California. We're going to take a look. There's a couple of sea lions on this ship on the bulbous bow. We're going to see if we can. We don't want to get too close because the ship's swinging around. If you guys want to get your cameras out and snap a few pictures real quick. You can see them all sleeping on the bulbous bow of the ship here. see they're not very active unless they're eating. That's pretty much all they do is sleep and eat. And they're really good fishermen. They've learned that the fishing boats around here are pretty much a free meal. So you'll see them after the fishing boats leave the bait dock. And as we're drifting here, guys, you can see the ship. You can see the red and the black. That red is usually underwater when these things are fully loaded. If you look up towards the bow, you'll see all the numbers, 15, 14, 13 meter. Those are all in meters. That's the draft. So you can see they're up to the 15 meter. That's 45 feet of draft. That's under the water. And this is one of the smaller ships. All right, guys, wave goodbye to the sea lions. We're going to continue on our route. Everybody say bye, sea lions. To the right, just off the stern of the ship, you'll see a small island. This is one of the 4 man-made oil islands here in Long Beach. And the initial is the 5 oil companies that originally developed the island: Mexico, Humboldt, Union, Mobil, and Shell. All each one pumping over 170,000. You see on the right is the oil island Freeman. We have Casey, White, and Grissom. These islands were named after men who died serving their country. Freeman in a plane crash in 64, and astronauts Grissom, Casey, and White in the ill-fated Apollo 1 fire in 67. Island White, which is up ahead of us to the right. We'll swing by here as we get past without Freeman here. Another small building on the side of the island with the blue windows. Inside that building is the oil and department there. After the oil islands were first built, the city of Long Beach got feedback from some of their owners of some of the multi-million-dollar homes up on the boulevard about their appearance. They told the company that they would have to do something to beautify the island. So they covered up large oil derricks with a structure designed to look like an apartment. To further beautify the island and to hide all the oil in tanks and pipes used in the production of oil, trees and bushes were added, and when you view the islands from shore, they take on the resemblance of a resort island. You can see this island that we're passing by now is Freeman. It's a little bit further offshore, so it's not as beautified as the rest of the islands. You'll see in Chaffee, which is way down to the right there. Just starting to see it now with all the lights. And then you've got Oil White, which is right in front of us. To the right, we'll be passing by that shortly. And then you've got Island Grissom, which is inside. We'll talk about that a little bit when we pass by it. Little bit of history about Long Beach is it wasn't always named Long Beach. In the late 1800s, it was known as Wilmore City, after one of the very early developers of the area, William Wilmore. He left about 1882, and the citizens decided to change the name. And they figured since there was a long stretch of white sandy beach, they would call it Long Beach. So that's how it got its name. And as we make this little turn here, you guys will get a good view of Island White. with the tall apartment building and all the trees, palm trees and bushes and stuff on the island there. Apartment building that is also a historical landmark. Riviere was built in 1928. It's a 16-story French Gothic structure. It's one of the only buildings to remain standing after the big 33 earthquake in Long Beach. It had very little damage, while many other buildings had to be torn down or were demolished by the earthquake itself. The roof is not painted green, nor does it have green shingles. It's actually made of copper, which turns to green after exposure to the weather. The night for the solution, so they developed the process of injecting seawater back into the void in the ground as they pumped out the oil, thus solving the problem. This is now a solution used by oil companies worldwide after being developed right here in the city of Long Beach. And just beyond the island Grissom here, see a big blue circular building with whales painted on the side. If you've seen any newscast in Long Beach, you've probably seen this building. That's the Long Beach Sports Arena. The whales that you see on the side are Pacific gray whales, and they're actual size. All the other green light that you see painted on that sports arena is also actual size. This is also the longest continuous hand painting mural in the world, going completely around the building. It's pretty cool. If you guys have some time to go check it out up close to really get a good perspective of how big gray whales actually are. And it was painted by the famed marine and wildlife artist Wyland. Everybody, we're going to be slowing down here. We're just entering the shallow water habitat, or shallow water markers, I'm sorry. Now's a good time to take a look around the boat. Make sure you got everything you brought with you. Don't leave anything on board. Also, if you guys can take a look around your seats, down by your feet, around you, pick up any trash that might have not made it in the trash can. We don't want it blowing into the water. We'd like to try to keep that stuff out of the water. So if you can help us do our part, pick up all the trash, even if it's not yours. If it's on the floor, throw in the trash can for us. We greatly appreciate it. Also, as you're getting off the boat, if you guys enjoyed yourselves, had a good time, feel that the crew did a good job, there'll be a tip jar. One of the crew members will be standing downstairs with it. You guys have a couple dollars and you want to throw it to the guys, they greatly appreciate it. It's not mandatory, but it is appreciated, and every little bit helps. Please keep the starboard side, the right-hand side of the boat clear, the side you guys got on this afternoon. While we're tying the boat up, makes it easier for the crew to tie it up there. Please wait till the boat is securely fastened to the dock and the crew says it's okay to get off before you step off. Watch your step off the boat, up the ramp, and have a good rest of your day, and happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We appreciate it, guys. Thank you.